Hi friends, I am back to finish chapter 2 and read chapter 3 of Junie B. Jones' One Man Band. Plus, a boy named Sheldon said that last summer he accidentally kicked a giant tree stump on account of his cousin told him it was made out of rubber. Only it wasn't, said Sheldon, very upset. It was made out of tree, and so all of my toes got their heads bashed in. After that, Sheldon put his foot up on his desk and he started taking off his shoe to show us. Mr. Scary held up his hand. "No, Sheldon, please, that's really not necessary," he said. But Sheldon quick yanked off his shoe and sock and he raised his piggies way high in the air. "See, everybody? See the baby one? The baby one still has a little red knob on the side of it," he said. "See?" Just then Sheldon tipped his chair back on two legs so he could raise his foot even higher. Only too bad for him, because quick as a blink, his chair legs slided out from underneath him. And boom! He went crashing into the aisle, and his forehead got a knob on it, just like his baby toe. Mrs. Weller quick grabbed the ice bag from my foot, and she put it on Sheldon's head. She said he needed to come to the office with her right away. Only wait till you hear this. Sheldon didn't even cry. Instead, he left the ice bag on his head, and he put his shoe and sock back on very calm, and he walked to the door with Mrs. Weller. All of us clapped and clapped for that brave boy. Sheldon smiled when he heard that, then he turned around and he did a bow, and the ice bag fell off his head. Chapter 3 is called More Bad News. Mother came to get me from school that day. She said she would drive me and Sheldon home so we wouldn't have to take the bus. I walked to the parking lot very limping. Sheldon was still wearing the ice bag on top of his head. "My, it must have been quite a day in room 1, said Mother. Sheldon did a sigh. "I've had better," he said. After that, both of us got in the back seat and we buckled our seatbelts. Sheldon quick put his window down. Mother turned around. "Gee, I don't know, Sheldon," she said. "That's going to be a lot of wind on you, don't you think?" "I like wind," said Sheldon. Wind makes my cheeks flap." Mother stared at him a second. "Okie doke," she said, kind of quiet. Then she turned back around and she started the car and we drove out of the parking lot. Sheldon leaned his head close to the window and he tilted his head into the rushy air. He opened his mouth so the wind flapped his cheeks. Both of us started to laugh. Only just then, a little bit of trouble happened because Mother went around a corner kind of wizzy and Sheldon's head got tilted even further and whoosh, the ice bag flew right out the window. Sheldon sat very still after that. Finally, he closed the window and he drummed his fingers on the seat. "Today isn't going that good for me," he said. I nodded, then I patted his arm, because sometimes I understand that boy perfectly well. That night I tossed and turned in my bed, because my toe did not like things touching it, that's why, not even the sheet. Only here's the worstest part of all, because the next morning when I took off my covers, my whole entire toenail was black. I did a scream at that terrible sight. Mother and Daddy came running. "Junie B., what on earth is the matter?" said my mother. "My toe is the matter! My toe is the matter!" I hollered back. "Look, look, look!" I held up my foot for Mother to see. "Oh my," she said. "The doctor said this might happen. Your toenail has a bad bruise on it." I wrinkled my eyebrows at her. "A bruise?" I said. "That's all it is? It's just a bruise?" Mother nodded. "Yes, it's just a bruise, Junie B.," she said, "but I'm afraid it's going to be a little painful to wear shoes for a while." Daddy sat down next to me. "Don't worry though, honey," he said. "As soon as it grows out, it will look normal again." He pointed to his bare foot. "Look at mine. I've bruised my big toenail many times over the years, but it's always grown out good as new. See?" I looked at it and made a face. Daddy's toe is not attractive. Just then, tears came in my eyes. I touched my toe very gentle. "Ow, ow, ow! It hurts even worse than yesterday," I said. "So now what am I supposed to do? Because I don't even want to wear sandals to school again." "On account of sandals don't protect toes from getting hurt." Mother thought for a minute, then she went to my closet and she got out my old red sneakers and she cut a hole in the top of one of them with my scissors. She held it up for me to see. "Ta-da!" she said real singy. And ha! What do you know? The hole was right where my sore piggy toe would be. Mother helped me put on my red socks, then she slid the holy sneaker on my foot very careful. And surprise, surprise, it didn't even hurt hardly. After breakfast, Mother drove me to school again. Only at first, when I went to my room, I felt kind of shy about my sneaker hole, and so I snuck to my seat and showed it to my friend Herb in private. And guess what? Herbert's whole face lighted up. "A window," he said. "You've got a window in your shoe." I did a giggle at that idea. Hey, yeah, I said, a piggy toe window. Just then Sheldon came hurrying into room 1. He had a shiny red Band-Aid on his forehead. He stood in the front of the room and he pointed to it with his finger. No one touch this, please, he said real loud. He turned to Mr. Scary. Even though I came back to school today, I'm still not totally right up here, he said. Mr. Scary nodded. Oh yes, Sheldon, I'm very aware of that, he said. Sheldon kept on talking. I probably shouldn't play in the kickball tournament on Friday either, he said, because what if I'm standing at home plate and a ball starts rolling at me and then it hits a rock and bounces up and smacks me on the Band-Aid and I get a bump on top of my bump? He did a little shiver. Oh, double bumps would not be good, he said. Mr. Scary looked at him. No, Sheldon, double bumps would not be good, he said, but don't worry. Between now and then, I'm sure we can come up with something else you can do in the tournament. After that, Mr. Scary glanced over at me. And don't you worry either, Junie B., he said. We'll think of something else for you to do, okay? I raised my eyebrows at that guy. Yeah, but I don't want to do something else, Mr. Scary, I said. I want to play in the kickball game. I've been practicing really hard. Mr. Scary smiled kind of sad. Yes, I'm sure you have, Junie B., he said, but your toe is already sore, and I doubt if you'll feel like kicking a ball with it by Friday. I sat there a minute, because I never even thought of that problem before. And all of a sudden, my shoulders felt very slumping. I put my head on my desk and I hid under my sweater, because now I would never be the star of the kickball tournament, and that had been the happiest daydream of my life. That is the end of chapter 3. Come back tomorrow. I will be reading chapters 4 and 5.